guys, what's going on? Good evening, it's Brandon. So this episode is going to be about how things have gone full circle. There's what I think is, in my mind, it's not a famous photo, but it is in my mind. It's always stuck in my mind. It was the very first C8 Z06 testing against the Porsche 911 GT2 RS. And you guys know who uploaded that to social media first? You're looking at them. The photo was taken out in California, Yuma area. There's a road that the cars go up the mountain. And at the top of the mountain, there was a bicycle race going on. And there's a photo with Aaron Link looking off into the distance, perplexed, trying to solve why something's going on with the cars. That's going on with the cars on the C8 Z06 when it was still in camouflage. And so if you type in right now, my name, Brandon Byers, GT2 C8 Z06, you'll find the articles with that photo. So go ahead and type that in on Google right now and you'll find it. Like, hey, I know that guy. I know that Brandon Byers guy. So the point is that the reason why that photo is so important to this discussion is because I can tell when Mr. Link is perplexed. I can tell when these guys are perplexed and when they're trying to solve something. And I think I've stumbled upon something pretty big, guys. I think that there's something about altitude change confuses the computers in these cars to where the cars experience detonation. And I'm not just saying that. Okay, I have plenty of evidence to back that up, but we're not going to get into that quite yet. And what's more interesting is the detonation, for one reason or another, it's cloaked. Whether General Motors decided to cloak it on purpose to get the cars to pass emissions, because if the cars are throwing check engine lights every time they go up to high altitude from low altitude, and if you guys remember, there was a lot of high altitude testing of C8s out in Colorado when the Z06 was delayed, as well as the ZR1. When these cars are being tested and delayed, you kept seeing them high altitude testing in Colorado. So I'm starting to think there was more to that. See, a car shouldn't have a hard time running in high altitude because there's a cop up here who might pull me over for having my dome light on. Let me turn that off for a second. That wasn't even a cop. It's a telephone repair truck. Telephone wire repair truck. Okay, so anyway. You can't pass emissions if you're experiencing detonation, because detonation is not an emissions compliant activity, okay? So if the cars are experiencing detonation every time they go up and down in altitude, big altitude changes, which is coincidentally one of the things that I've realized is a variable on the quote-unquote cliff road where my car has glitched before, okay? So imagine for a second that the car has a set number of parameters for its like O2 sensors, and imagine for a second that you don't stop and restart the car, so those parameters get reset when you restart it. But imagine instead you just go up a really big steep hill and you're going up the hill at warp speed at wide open throttle, and the car never gets a chance to reset its parameters based on barometric pressures and so on and so forth for its O2 sensors and so on and so forth. And imagine the car starts to experience detonation. Then imagine you're General Motors and you say, well, how many people are really gonna run into this problem? Give me a second here. And those who do, maybe we'll just take it on the chin, but the rest of the time, this will be kind of like a cool little destructive mechanism, if you will, that over time it'll wear out our motors when there's this random cloaked detonation that doesn't set a check engine light, and the codes themselves vanish from within the computer. Guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. It's all in General Motors' court. The ball is completely in General Motors' court, and I cannot believe what a karma situation this is going to be for General Motors. Whether they do the right thing or whether they try to be malicious. And in the past, there's been situations where certain people, not everybody inside General Motors, but certain people inside General Motors have really big egos, and they've gone out of their way to be malicious with me when they think that they're in the right and that I'm in the wrong, and they have no clue what's actually going on, or they do know what's going on and they just think that they're gonna do things like bully style and you know. So all that I'm going to tell you is this is like this situation right now. I'm not going to get into details about it, but I'm going to tell you this situation that we are in right now, this last 3 weeks or so, is the most fair karma situation for General Motors, because if they don't do the right thing, all I can tell you is my C8 Z06 motor is going to become Exhibit A on YouTube channels with millions of subscribers, okay? Because it's the story, it's the documented repair ticket story that I have that goes with the motor, and what the motor is a motor to. It's a motor to a C8 Z06. And the whole world is dying to know right now, are these motors reliable? And I think it might surprise people when I say the motor's very reliable, in my opinion. It's the computer system that the motor's coupled to that causes the motor destruction at a very rapid pace, and that computer does not illuminate check engine lights as it's causing the motor destruction. Okay? Not in all situations. Don't get me wrong. Has there ever been a check engine light on my car? Sure. But in general, when the most damage was done to my motor, and when my motor is taken apart to examine that damage, I can attest that there was no check engine light. It didn't even blink a couple times. There was no check engine light, guys. And the codes erased themselves, which should not be the case. Whether that's GM's policy or not, whether they're out in the open about that policy or not, once the public understands that the whole purpose of a fucking check engine light is to warn the driver that you are doing damage to your motor if you continue to drive, therefore you need to pull over and get something checked out. So to not have that check engine light illuminated when the motors are experiencing detonation, which is going to result in the engine to potentially catastrophically fail. And those of you saying, oh, you're being a drama queen, you guys are going to see what drama's about in a second. You guys are going to see drama with your own eyes in a moment. So all I can tell you is, if GM wants to get clever, okay, and I'm being sarcastic when I say clever because they're not clever, guys. If GM wants to get clever and thinks that, oh, we're going to really show this guy and ruin this guy, all I can tell you is there's an expression, I don't know if my grandfather used to say it properly or not, because he's from, he was a small town kind of guy, but he used to say the expression, cut off your nose to spite your face. And I used to just think to myself, okay, I get what you're saying, but what the fuck are you saying? You know what I mean? I got to look it up on Google right now. But the point is, this is the way that my grandfather used to use that phrase. That is what General Motors might be about to do. They might be about to try to cause me financial harm, and in doing so, they themselves are going to experience huge potential financial harm, both in drop in sales further than what they've already dropped, and potential class action, okay, for their computer system operating the way that it does, and potential. I'm using the words potential, guys. I could be completely wrong. I'm not an expert, right? There's so many people who say, oh, he's not an expert, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Just listen to Justin, a horsepower obsessed, and Rick Conti, and Keith Cornett, and all these guys. Brandon has no clue what he's talking about. Just listen to the GM engineers. Brandon has no clue what he's talking about. But the point is, guys, a car is not even emission compliant, and the government can be put into a situation where they are ordered, where they are, their arm is twisted, the government's arm is twisted to order a stop sale on a car manufacturer the same way that happened to Volkswagen, okay, where there were the diesel Jettas and they weren't allowed to sell them anymore, both new and used. Volkswagen stores were not allowed to sell them new or used. The public could still sell them to each other used. But anyway, we just went through this stop sale with the Corvettes for the, what do you call it? The gasoline fire situation, right? They had to do the recall on those before they could continue to sell the cars. So for those of you who are ignorant, you're a little less ignorant now to where you've seen that this stop sale stuff is real and it can happen. General Motors can be government ordered to do a stop sale. And understand something, it's third parties who figure this stuff out. It's not the government who figures it out. It's people, third party testers figured out the Volkswagen Dieselgate situation and put the government into a spot where they had to stop sale Volkswagen. The same thing, in my opinion, could potentially happen with General Motors, and I'm not exaggerating, you guys, when I say that I think I have the evidence right now to do it. I'm not bluffing. I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not saying I just have a little bit of evidence. I have had evidence after evidence after evidence of this, and I didn't really realize at the time what was going on, what it was that I was looking at, what it was that I was experiencing, what it was that I was making videos of. Guys, this is big stuff, all right? And that's all I'm going to say. And those of you are like, General Motors is going to void the warranty on your car, and they're going to show you. Guys, if General Motors were to void the warranty on my car, that means I own my motor. That means my motor, I'm just being blunt with you, is going straight on a 1 million+ subscription YouTube channel in the blink of an eye. If I were to send my motor off to that channel right now, that would void my warranty, because that would mean that that's me taking away General Motors' first shot to examine the motor potentially. But if General Motors acts first and they want to try to void my warranty on my car for any reason, that means they have chosen their fate. Okay, there is not a more karma situation that I can think of, and my motor will go on to a large YouTube channel at that point, I promise you. Okay, I promise you. So it's just a question of which one or how many. All right, and that's the big question: is can we do a big collaboration where all the YouTube channels who care meet in one setting and send out a representative where they do a collaboration? Because this is a big deal, what I figured out, guys. This is like planned obsolescence, whether General Motors realizes it or not. Maybe there's a third-party company that's trying to hold General Motors in checkmate. But this is like planned obsolescence wonderland is what this is. And what I mean by that is when your cars get out of warranty, it's electronically possible for someone somewhere to flip a switch and cause your engine to self-destruct without you even knowing it, and without you having any evidence of what even happened, because the check engine lights don't illuminate. Okay? That's all we got for that episode. And now the question is, was Aaron Link and the guys, when they're sitting there scratching their heads why the cars are potentially experiencing detonation when they would run up the highway to the top of the mountain from the Yuma testing grounds out west? Remember, type in Brendan Byers GT2 911 camo C8 Z06, and it should take you to article after article on the internet that cites me as the source for the first time that the C8s were being tested alongside the GT2 RS, and that was on their high altitude hill climb out west from the Yuma proving grounds up to the top of the mountain. Small world, huh, General Motors? See ya.